Scylla appears in the Odyssey, the ancient Greek epic traditionally attributed to Homer, composed around the 8th century BC. She is encountered during Odysseus' perilous return journey from Troy, specifically in Book XII. Scylla stands out as one of the most fearsome and unforgettable monsters. As a six-headed sea creature who devours sailors, Scylla plays a relatively brief role in terms of narrative length, but her significance reaches far beyond the confines of the episode. She represents unavoidable loss, the limits of human control, and the need for leadership under pressure. Through her, Homer explores themes of fear, sacrifice, and the tragic choices that often accompany survival. One character story. Scylla's story in the Odyssey is brief yet striking, marked by terror, inevitability, and loss. She occupies a high cliff overlooking a narrow strait that Odysseus must cross on his voyage home. Unlike many figures in the epic who interact through dialogue or extended encounters, Scylla never speaks. Her presence is conveyed through vivid description and the fearful warnings of others, especially the sorceress Circe. According to Circe, Scylla is a creature with 12 dangling feet and 6 long necks, each ending in a monstrous head lined with triple rows of teeth. She lurks unseen in her cave, snatching sailors from passing ships and devouring them alive. Circe emphasizes that Scylla cannot be fought, reasoned with, or escaped. The only possible strategy is to sail past her swiftly and accept the loss she will inflict. When Odysseus reaches the strait, he faces a terrible choice between Scylla and Charybdis, a vast whirlpool that threatens total destruction. Remembering Circe's counsel, he steers closer to Scylla, hoping to minimize overall loss. Despite his efforts, Scylla seizes 6 of his strongest men, lifting them screaming from the deck. Odysseus watches helplessly as they are eaten alive, an image he later describes as the most pitiful sight he saw on his journey. Scylla's role in the story ends here. She does not pursue the ship, nor does she reappear later in the epic. Yet the psychological impact of the encounter lingers for Odysseus and the reader alike. Scylla's attack underscores the limits of heroism and intelligence. Even Odysseus, famed for his cunning, cannot outwit or overcome her. 2. Role in the narrative. In the Odyssey's narrative structure, Scylla serves as a test of leadership and moral responsibility. Unlike earlier challenges that reward cleverness or bravery, the encounter with Scylla presents a no-win situation. Odysseus must choose not between good and evil but between 2 forms of loss. Scylla's presence forces Odysseus into a position of tragic authority. He alone knows the full danger, having been warned by Circe, yet he withholds this knowledge from his crew to prevent panic. This decision underscores the isolating burden of leadership. Odysseus survives, but only at the cost of his men's lives and his own emotional suffering. Narratively, Scylla also stands in contrast to other monsters, such as Polyphemus. Polyphemus can be deceived and defeated by wit, Scylla cannot. This contrast reinforces one of the epic's central themes. Intelligence has limits, and not all problems can be solved by ingenuity. Some forces in the world are overwhelming. Furthermore, the episode deepens the epic's exploration of fate. Scylla is described as immortal and unavoidable, suggesting that some losses are predetermined. Her role thus deepens the tragic dimension of the Odyssey, reminding the audience that even favored heroes are subject to suffering beyond their control. 3. Symbolic significance. Symbolically, Scylla represents an unavoidable sacrifice. She embodies the harsh reality that survival often demands painful choices and that not all lives can be saved. Her position in a narrow passage reinforces the idea of constraint. When options are limited, loss is inevitable. Scylla can also be read as a symbol of impersonal danger. Unlike vengeful gods or conscious enemies, she acts purely according to her nature. This makes her a representation of natural forces, such as storms, rocks, or disease, that destroy without intention or malice. In the strait between Scylla and Charybdis, Odysseus must choose between 2 destructive forces. He knowingly sacrifices a few of his men to save the rest, a morally complex decision that weighs heavily on him. This moment forces readers to confront the idea that leadership sometimes requires tragic compromise. Scylla's attack underscores that not all threats can be prevented and that not everyone can be saved. The episode involving Scylla and Charybdis extends far beyond mythological storytelling. It raises philosophical and ethical questions about human agency, sacrifice, and the pursuit of survival. The idiom, between Scylla and Charybdis, has endured in modern language as a way of describing a no-win situation in which avoiding one danger necessarily exposes one to another. This illustrates how the myth has been used over time to articulate the feeling of being trapped by difficult choices. For Odysseus, Scylla represents the cost of leadership in a world where control is limited and outcomes are often tragic. His choice to steer toward Scylla is not cowardice but realism. It's an admission that heroism does not always mean saving everyone. It sometimes means choosing who must be lost for the greater good. This moment is crucial to understanding Homeric heroism in a broader context. Scylla also embodies the theme of human vulnerability to the cosmos. Throughout the Odyssey, Odysseus must navigate a world filled with supernatural forces, many of which are indifferent or hostile to humanity. Her role in the narrative reinforces the idea that the world is full of arbitrary suffering and that wisdom sometimes lies in accepting what cannot be changed. At last, from a cultural standpoint, Scylla reflects ancient seafaring fears. The narrow straits, possibly the Strait of Messina between Italy and Sicily, believed to have inspired this myth, were known for their treacherous waters and unpredictable currents. Homer dramatizes these hazards through personification, transforming real-world threats into monsters. This allows the poem to bridge myth and reality, teaching lessons in caution, humility, and respect for the natural world. For conclusion, Scylla's brief yet unforgettable appearance in the Odyssey encapsulates many of the poem's deepest concerns: the inevitability of loss, the complexity of moral choices, and the limits of human power in a chaotic world. She is not merely a monster lurking in the sea but a symbolic presence that forces Odysseus, and the reader, to confront uncomfortable truths about leadership, survival, and sacrifice. Her role reminds us that not all battles can be fought and not all dangers avoided. Sometimes, wisdom means steering toward the lesser danger and accepting the pain that comes with it. In this way, Scylla stands as a chilling yet profound figure in Homer's epic, a monstrous embodiment of life's cruel necessities and the courage required to face them. Through Scylla, Homer captures a fundamental truth of the human condition: survival often comes at a cost, and wisdom lies in recognizing what cannot be changed.